Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review, live with you again. And tonight it is, of course, Newcastle Wolves preview. Alex will be with us in just a second. He's just taking his seat now, getting ready to come on, so he is there. But good evening, everybody. Of course, this is our earlier time of 6 p.m. For the match reviews on a Thursday, or previews, I should say, that we do on a Thursday, where we like to get this done and let you enjoy your Thursday nights. Mr. Stato, good evening.
Hello, how are we doing?
Yeah, we're good. Let's just go through a couple of comments. Frau says, afternoon, everyone, from sunny Ohio. James says, we are due a good result. The pressure is starting to mount on the players and the team, only because how high they've set the bar from doing so well. Yes, Billy, this is a huge game, isn't it? I mean, I know it's Wolves, but no disrespect. You know, this is a massive game for Newcastle because it's an opportunity to turn things around for the better by getting some points in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been playing badly the past few weeks. We've lost the last 3 games, but each them, we could have got something out of them. So, yeah, I think Wolves would be a slightly different proposition for us, a slightly, let's say, less quality in their side than what we've played the last 3 weeks. However, they are still dangerous, so we're going to have to play to our best to get anything from them, I think.
Yeah. Johnny Ricard, get yourself sorted, matey. You know, we're here if you need to talk to anybody. Just drop us a message, mate. Just get your head sorted, dude. Good evening to Julie J, Toon TV, Jack there. John Backdoor is in the house. Roger, good evening. It feels strange every time I say that, to be honest. John's Backdoor's in the house, but it's just the way it is. Oi, people, good evening to everyone, hosts, mods, and chatters. It must have 3 points on Sunday. Someone is due a spanking and hope this is it. Is Sunday going to be the day, Alex, that we finally get the 3 points in the bag and get this confidence back up?
It could be. It's definitely possible against Wolves. I mean, they are 13th in the league. But, you know, the defensive record isn't brilliant. They're not really producing too much either. They're not much of a bother in terms of an offensive threat, as long as we focus, as long as we don't make mistakes. If we can just have a mistake-free 90, we should be all right. Because the only real way they score is sort of a Neves moment of brilliance. You know, they're 0.7 goals per 90. Their top scorer is on 5. With Daniel Podence, with Ruben Neves also on 5. Their top assister is João Moutinho with only 2. So it's not that dangerous, really. So we should be able to try and we should be able to play our game a little bit more. They're one of the lowest in the league for pressures and winning in the final third. So we're not going to get, you know, attacked too much. But again, it's going to be one of these. You know, at the risk of offending Bournemouth and Wolves, they're a bit more like a better technical quality Bournemouth in that way, that they're probably going to come and sit a lot deeper. They're very high in the league for accurate long balls per 90, despite Neves' comments at the start of the season. They are one of the biggest long ball teams in the league. So I'm confident that we can have a good defensive display. I'm less confident about whether we're going to find the back of the net. You know, it'll happen at some point. Why not Sunday?
Well, Wolves, of course, have had a poor season, start of the season anyway, but they've upped the game a little bit, of course, in recent weeks and have had some really, really good results. But interesting, Billy, as Tom says there, that Callum Wilson, of course, has come out and taken full responsibility for the lack of goals. What do you make of that?
That's the first time he's hit the target with anything for weeks, isn't it? he has no choice, no matter. Some of the things he's missed lately have been, quite frankly, disgraceful. But it'll come right in the
Just
end.
2 seconds. I am on the wrong internet, Alex. Bear with us a second. I'll probably go off and be back in 2 seconds.
I had a feeling he might be. He was doing the CCTV dance, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know he'd come out, and I've not been able to check much football stuff today, apart from obviously prepping. I didn't realise he'd come out and taken accountability. That's interesting.
Yeah, he did, and I went to read it. I didn't read the full article, but it was very interesting that he said that. But I mean, look, it's all right coming out and taking responsibility, but the fact is, Billy, he hasn't been scoring the goals.
No, it might be his way of trying to say, one more chance, Gaffer, please. Yeah, that's how footballers work, I guess. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got one more chance either, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, I know you quite convinced that Wilson's going to play. I'm on the other side of the fence. I don't think he will. I think it'd be criminal if he doesn't start Isak. And I think Isak has every right to question the manager if he's left out this week, because he shouldn't be, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, he's our record signing. He's a 23-year-old striker with amazing potential. He looks great when he's on the pitch. Even in spells, where coming back from sort of the injury, he's looked great. He's looked very explosive and dangerous. He also looks like he's got a lot more link-up play to offer with the rest of our sort of attacking threat, which Wilson doesn't really link up very well. I mean, there were spells of him and Joe Linton back in the day doing a little bit together, but beyond that, Wilson's never been much of a, he's never needed other people. He's very much a lone man. Whereas Isak looks great with other players, and it'd help Isak's confidence. It'd help other players' confidence. It's what the fans want to see. It would be better football. Obviously, it suits everybody except Callum Wilson, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, interesting. Toon Gamers is there. That any news on Gordon? He's not in the training pictures. I did look through all the training pictures, and he's right. Gordon wasn't there. Not in any of them. Now, normally he's either at the forefront or you'll see him in the background. I guess we'll have to wait till the press conference tomorrow, Billy, to find out. But if Gordon's not available tomorrow, then we are really stretched.
Yeah, well, that means Mickey isn't going to get dropped, and I think Maxi will just slip on the left-hand side. We'll be struggling for substitutes, but I don't think we'll even find out tomorrow if Gordon's fit or not. I don't think Eddie Howe will tell anyone.
Well, that's a good point, yeah.
Least of all the Wolves managing staff. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
If he's questioned about it, well, he'll just dodge it, I guess. I don't think he'll come out with it. No way.
Yeah, he's very coy in the press conferences, isn't he? I mean, he could turn and say he's had a little bit of a knocking.
Or cold or anything.
Like he normally says, and say, we'll see. Reese says that he's not available because he's hosting Crufts. Interesting. Shamrocks is must win, in my opinion. I'm in no mood to hear about how well we have done if we don't get 3 points. It's Wolves at home, not Madrid. I'm with you, Shamrock. I think enough. Basically, enough's enough. Enough excuses. I am now past the point of people saying, look where we've come from. That's the past now, guys. We've got to start thinking forward. We can't keep looking back and saying, look where we've come from, because any club can now start saying, look where we were so many years ago. Or, people have to look forward now. And it is Wolves, with no disrespect to Wolves, who, as I said earlier on, have picked up their form, definitely. However, if we want to be where we want to be, we have got to beat teams like Wolves at home, Alex.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that not winning is as bad as that, because it depends on certain factors. We might not win, and it might not be the lads' fault. We've seen how many officiating decisions have been a mistake, a literal mistake that they've come out and apologized for on several occasions. There are things that can happen, but we just need to try and make sure it's one of those days where we play so well that we put the score beyond any sort of doubt. If we score 2 or 3 clean goals off merit that they can't disallow, it's going to be very difficult for us to not get 3 points. So it's all well and good saying it doesn't matter if we're playing well. It does, because we need to continue the playing well in this game. Because again, over the course of a season, playing well gets you points. I don't want us to start being silly and pragmatic and dropping style just for the sake of 3 points. But I'd rather we carried on the process and we have a style and an identity. Because you've seen teams like Everton. I understand that it's a combination of spending and that, but what style have Everton tried to play in the last 5 years? Who are Everton? What are they known for? Whereas if neutrals look at us, they either say time wasting, or if they've actually watched us, they'll say really high pressing, really energetic, really exciting. There is a definitive style and way we play, and I don't want us to sort of drop that just to try and win a game that's a league game. It's a long-term process, isn't it? So you got to stick with it.
Well, Sean says here, do we start to question Eddie Howe if he plays the same team and formation again? No, I tell you what we do. We question the players, not Eddie Howe, because if they've been playing well enough or training well enough, and that Eddie says, right, you lads, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out there. This is the team. And the team don't go out and perform, then that's not necessarily Eddie Howe's fault. Those players, whatever 11 that Eddie sends out on Sunday, for me, are good enough to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? We are good enough. Those players are good enough, right? It doesn't matter who he starts up front or on the wings or in the midfield. They are good enough to beat Wolves. And that is my opinion, but I think we are. So if Eddie picks the same team and they, again, play well like they did at Man City, but don't convert chances again, how is it Eddie Howe's fault? If they're creating chances, Eddie Howe can't put the ball in the net. There's a difference. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, what do you guys think about what the Liverpool owner's saying about club transfers spending, saying it should be capped? It's not sour grapes. It's basically saying that transfer fees and everything capped. They want to bring caps in, which is what they do in America. They're totally trying to Americanize it, and they can get stuffed.
What they're doing is shutting the door after they've bolted through it.
Absolutely,
they've already spent the money, and now they're saying no one else can. It's absolute bollocks.
Yeah, of course it is.
Well, I saw in that article that they talked about they didn't want it to be boring and have like one or two teams battling out every year and being boring. Well, that's what it's literally been for the last 5 seasons. It's been Man City and Liverpool for the past 5 seasons. It's been kind of boring, apart from a couple of years where they were like 1 point in it, and it was like, oh, okay, fair enough. That's not on. You can't just, as Billy said, they're trying to shut the door behind them when they've already bolted through it. That's ridiculous. Exactly. It's not fair.
Exactly. The Clone Lad, thank you for your membership. I believe that's a renewal, but thank you very much, my friend. If it's not, welcome to Members Club. Really appreciate it. The thing is, the Americans, if you look at the sort of NHL and the basketball and things like that, because it's all capped, obviously you get, each team has sort of superstar players, and the kind of, it levels itself out, and you have to really, really play well to win a trophy and things like that, the Stanley Cup or the basketball, whatever it is. But football is a very different game, and it's completely different and should never be Americanized like that at all. And
every close season in America, they have a draft where they pick up the best college talents, basically. That's never going to happen in football, is it? They're not going to go to the Sunday leagues around the country and pick up the best talents from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't have the same system with university football and things like that. Yeah. Everybody comes from academies that are already from clubs anyway.
Yeah, they go to college, etc. over there as part of their sports team that they've signed for, which is
it's all a system. It's high school, scholarship, college, scouts. You play well, draft. There is a legitimate path, whereas we don't have that here. You can literally be playing for Fleetwood and get picked up. It makes no difference who you are or where you are.
Look what happened to Jamie Vardy. That would never happen in America, right? So you're taking you're taking away those opportunities, and it's just nonsense. JB says it's not just Wilson's goal rate; it's his work rate that's a concern.
That's true.
Yes, but that could be put down to what's been happening off the pitch with his illness, whatever this mysterious illness is. But look, if Callum's...
we shouldn't be playing, should he?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is the one question I will say of Eddie Howe. He needs to, if he looks at Wilson, say he's not pressing as much as I'd want him to, because I think every fan would agree that the Callum looks he doesn't look right. He doesn't look to be bossing the centre backs like he was, pre-World Cup and things like that. But I think he's got to start Isak for me. He's got to. If not, I think Isak will be banging on the door and saying, "What is going on here?" Devon says, "If we're going to beat if we're going to get the best out of Isak, he needs to be on the pitch or time on the pitch. I really hope Wilson doesn't start." Tony says, controversial opinion. We miss Willock's driving runs from midfield. It's a very interesting point.
I wouldn't say it's controversial. I think a lot of us think that.
I mean, look, Willock can be frustrating. There's no doubt about it. When we see one game, or even for 45 minutes, he'll boss a game and he'll just drive Newcastle forward, and then he'll go missing in the other 45. But I think with him coming back from the injury, I think he's got to be fit now. I mean, he's trained for a couple of weeks. He's come on as substitute.
He always takes a while to get going, though, doesn't he?
Well, he does. But do we have that time to give him, Alex?
I think it's more appropriate if he's doing that interchangeable role with Joe Linton. Then he can afford to have a bit. If he's off the pace by 10% work rate, and he makes the odd mistake, having Joe Linton there is huge. Whereas if you're trying to play him in a midfield three and Maxi's out there's no room for error. Not in the Premier League, absolutely no way. So it's in our current situation without Joe Linton, it's risky. And he like you guys have just said, he is so hot and cold. Like if you ask a neutral fan, if I say Joe Willock's good enough for England, depending on or could be good enough for England, depending on which games neutral fans have watched of us this season, they could think I'm really clever or really dumb, because he's had games where he looks like, oh God, in 2 years, and then other games he's just, So it's just consistency with him. I understand he's still 23, but at some point we're going to have to stop referencing his age. In the next 18 months, he's going to have to start growing up. Be a man in the team. Not a young lad. So we'll see. This is his chance now. He's not got Joe Linton there to babysit him. Can he do it?
Yeah, it can't be potential forever, can you? At some stage, you've got to turn something else.
100%. Trull says we need to sack Fraser because he's now a problem. Fraser doesn't deserve to be at Newcastle United, in all honesty, Trolls. He really doesn't. The sooner he's out the club, the better for everybody, I think, because he's obviously sitting there, making... he's babbling on, isn't he? He's causing trouble in the background, and we don't need that kind of thing. Sean says that Anthony Gordon wasn't training, but apparently not injured. And Mason said that he's put a post on his Instagram story walking somewhere where he lives.
Maybe the snow kept him from driving in. Well, he can't drive in anyway, can he? He's banned, but...
Well, Spikes is there. He's got a court case coming up, so maybe it's something to do with that. I guess we'll see. But we'll see what Eddie says. Although, like Billy said earlier, he's not gonna say anything else. We're clearly the better team. It's definitely a must-win game. Reese, I know. Of course, I knew it was a Claire Bolden reference, but I'm not going to go there because he's a Newcastle United player now. We're clearly the better team. It's definitely a must-win game. Soli says, evening, everyone. Been a while since I caught a live. Hope everyone is well. Hope you are as well, my friend. Marcello says, I would love to see a change of tactics. The 4-3-3, it's predictable, but I don't think Eddie would do it. No, we're not changing. I really can't see him changing for this game because I think we know exactly... we can play the 4-3-3 at home and really dominate, Alex. And we've seen it in the past, and hopefully that's what we come out on Sunday and do to Wolves.
Yeah, I mean a slight difference potentially with Lascelles coming in. I would be surprised if Lascelles doesn't start again. Obviously, giving away a bit for the lineup predictions later, but I think Lascelles will play again. And he's got the potential to have a good passing day. It's just not. He's not shown it consistently previously, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's when Botman and Shearer are singing together, they are we are very dominant in that midfield with Bruno. But even with just the one swap, it should still be okay, I would imagine. I don't think the Wolves have got too much physicality. It's not going to be a massive loss without Joelinton. In terms of the physicality, it's not like Wolves are going to come and be hyper aggressive. So yeah, I would expect us to have a lot of possession. I would be disappointed if we didn't get close to 60%. Not that wins you games, but still control can lead to more chances and more goals. So it is relevant.
Yeah. Jules says, but it is in Howe's power to change when needed, though. Yes, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think, we do need to see. If there's one thing I'd like to see from Eddie is just to sort of respond to something a little quicker. Sometimes he can wait to 65, 70 minutes when it's clear, Billy, that we need something done earlier.
But as we've said all season, he's got a short pack of cards to play with. He's not got the riches on the bench that other clubs have. So, if he brings them on early and then you get an injury and you're bringing on kids or players that are over the top, it could go against us. So he's got to be cautious in his substitutions. I don't think you can criticise him really unless we're down and we're trying to fight back into the game. But yeah, I think his substitutions in the main have been good. In the main.
Ab says the performance has been high and consistent this season. It's been a great season. It certainly has. But we don't want it to tumble too much, Abs. We put ourselves up there. Let's try and stay there. And I say that in a very, very positive way rather than a negative one. If whatever happens for me, I think we've had a wonderful season. But as long as just try and stay up there, a European place and a cup final, nobody would have thought possible at the start of this season. So hopefully we can do that. Southern Geordie says, evening, everyone. In all seriousness, why don't we try a sneaky bid for Harry Kane in the summer? He's on 200k a week. Yeah.
You need 300k a week for his balls, just for him. So, yeah. That. He doesn't do press, does he? He doesn't work into our system at all.
Yeah, I don't think it would work. Obviously, there's going to be a handful of people in the chat that are going to be like, "Oh, you wouldn't take Harry Kane? You're insane." Okay, fine, I'm insane. I'd rather build a team. Again, this is what I said about when people talked about like Mbappe and stuff. Obviously, not yet, but in 5 years, if we are able to pull off big signings like that. I don't want us to go and just pull players from other clubs like that. I'd rather we try and build our own legacy with a current team, because Harry Kane will always be known as the Tottenham guy. He's that Harry Kane is Mr. Tottenham. So what if he comes here and wins a trophy? Like Van Persie. Van Persie in my head is Arsenal. He's always going to be Arsenal in my head. Mm-hmm. He went to Man United for a year and won a trophy. Okay, yeah, but he's still Arsenal in my head. He's Mr. Arsenal to me. I know he betrayed them, but it is what it is. I'd rather we just go for, like Isak. It wasn't really molded to any team yet, so he can write his own story, as can Bruno. I'd rather get sort of a player that can choose a new direction.
And Kane's Mr. Tottenham and also missed a fucking penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, yeah.
Jimmy Jones, thank you very much, Mr. Hammers. $4.99 super chat. Good evening, all, says Jimmy. Francisco says, evening, boyos. Chat and mods. Paul, what about the hoarding of top players by some teams, which then don't play them? How do you stop that? Mind you, I'm against the cap. Love you guys.
Liverpool's been doing that for 40, 50 years.
They have. Yeah.
And introducing the loan structure to try and stop. That will help a little bit because it means they can't hoard young talent and just keep loan farming them out. Like we've had a couple of teams. I think it was Atalanta who had 69 players out on loan last season, which is just bonkers.
Yeah. Look, for me, it just nothing is broken with the system we have at the minute. It's been this way for years and years and years. Could it be improved? I would think so, but not in a way that the Americans are talking about. I don't want to go anywhere near what the Americans are talking about, quite honestly. So let's just keep it as is at the moment. And, hopefully we'll see a lot more academy players coming through. JB says nobody will buy a business, including a football club, for big bucks if the potential investment and growth is fiercely capped. That's a very good point.
It is a good point.
Yeah. Devon says we're going to miss Big Joe on Sunday. I think that's inevitable, Billy. Well, of course we'll miss Big Joe because he's been such an influential player this season.
Yeah, we'll certainly miss the next 2 games. It's going to be a big ask of someone coming in, stepping into his shoes, because I don't think one player can do it. I think I think 2 players have to step into his shoes. That's the mark of the man that he's been this year.
Yeah, especially Forrest. I mean, Forrest are going to be well up for that game, of course, as will Shelby and Chris Wood. Mark Mullins, thank you for your £10 super chat. He says, good evening, Paul, Billy, Stato, and the TTR family. Hope everyone is well and had a good week. I'm going for a 4-1 to the Toon. Yeah, so Mark's pretty confident.
Just a point on that. Would Wood technically be allowed to play? Because I understand he's played the requisite amount to trigger the buy clause, but surely that wouldn't be until the summer.
I don't know.
So is he still technically on loan, but will become a permanent signing in the summer?
No, because they said when it was triggered, he says he's now become a permanent Nottingham Forest player, hasn't he? They didn't say in the summer. They said now. So unless that agreement was put in place, and the powers that be said, yeah, if he hits the 3 games, then yes, it triggers a permanent decision straight away. So I've never heard people say that he becomes a Nottingham Forest player in the summer. All I've heard is that he's now a permanent Nottingham Forest player. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's far too technical for me to understand, but it'd be interesting to know when we get the money then.
Well, who knows? We may have already had it. I just don't know. Adam says, evening, gentlemen. My lineup would be Isak up top and a front 3 of Maxi, Miggy and Gordon in that order of playing a 4-2-3-1. Jimmy, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. He's wondering if Alex is staying at Elton John's house. Yeah, well, his normal background will be resumed very soon. James says, let's not forget these same players with 3/4 best in the league 4 months ago. People really should not be solely blaming Eddie Howe. Look, I think it's the idiots blaming Eddie Howe, to be honest. I've already had my say on that. Nathan says, just going to get a drink and I've been gifted a membership. Nice one, Keith. Maybe I should drink more often. Keith, thank you very much again for doing that. That is very kind, gifting some memberships. Incredible gesture. Thank you so much. Chris Thompson says 6 points is a must in the next 2 games. Johnny Rickard says, I think time has caught up with Wilson like a boxer. You never know when it will happen. We need a new centre forward in the summer, and Wilson will be 3rd choice by then. Interesting, the boxing analogy, because obviously, we know that the injuries that Wilson's had, and you do never know, Billy, when those injuries are going to creep up on you.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I think basically it's the illness, and I think playing so many games in the season is something that Callum Wilson doesn't usually do. I think this season's been longer for him than any season he's had for a long time. So
yeah,
I don't think the injuries are catching up with him just yet, but he certainly doesn't look the player he was 4 months ago. But I think that's all down to the illness. I don't think there's anything else in it at all.
Yeah. Now, of course, the Chronicle are reporting that Alex's favourite player, Dujuan Richards, has had a successful trial at Newcastle, and he's just waiting to see if he gets a contract. Now, of course, he's been called up to the Jamaican team as well while he's been on trial at Newcastle, so that can't do him any harm, Alex.
Yeah, well, it's another high-profile, or low-profile. I'm not really sure. I guess high-profile, an exciting young signing from around the world. We're trying to collect them. Obviously, our youth teams are not doing very well at the moment. We're getting absolutely battered everywhere we go, which is not good. So it's going to take a long time to improve the academy and the quality of the players inside the academy. So not that they're necessarily academy players at 18, but they're still young enough.
Yeah,
we're just trying to fill that void. If we've not got 2, 3, 4 18-year-olds. Look at Manchester City. They're able to have 2 or 3 18-year-olds come into the side and play 5 to 10 games and make some scatter appearances in Europe. We haven't got that. So we're having to buy them.
Roger says, no mention of Wilson's training by himself away from the team. If that's bona fide, I'm not surprised he's crap during the match. Well, that was a while ago, Roger, to be honest. That was when the illness first came around. And when he was back to the training ground, he was training on his own for a while, which leads me to believe it's COVID, Billy.
I don't see what else it can be. I mean, yeah, it's pretty prevalent this time of this moment in time. So, and if he's got long COVID, who knows how weak he's going to look, how long for? It's worrying. But I just don't see him putting a statement out like that if he hasn't been told he's playing this week. I really don't. I don't see the point in it otherwise.
Interesting. Arcelius says we should go for Alex Scott from Bristol City. Yeah, we've highlighted him a few times. Paul Seals, good evening to you. Soli says, when Lascelles plays, I always think we are twice as likely to score from a set piece. I'll give him that. Yeah, we do look a bit more dangerous up front. But I mean, what's swaying you to Lascelles starting, Alex? Because obviously we know that Fabian Schär's been back in training now. He's over the concussion. Whatever we say about the concussion, I think it was disgraceful that he didn't come off in the cup final. I don't know what the hell happened there. But anyway, away from that, what makes you think that Lascelles might get the start?
Just the quantity of goals we've shipped in recent weeks, regardless of opposition. A lot of Schär's been out of position for, even against Liverpool. He wasn't concussed against Liverpool. It was just he was poor for both goals. The passing's not been quite where it was. He's allowed a few off weeks, and I think Fabian Schär's a cracking player. And personally, I would edge towards Fabian Schär in terms of quality, but at this point, just because of the way the goals are, like if Howe was going to go with Wilson, as Billy thinks, I would then go with Lascelles just for a bit of consistency because he played the last match. Try and be a bit more of a threat from set pieces, and maybe risk having a slightly lower quality ball playing centre back there. So it's a tough one. It's purely just from the physical threat. It depends how Wolves line up. I think Lascelles is better if he's got somebody to defend against. If he's got a man to mark, he's a lot better. Where if it's just an interchangeable three floaty forward line, he really struggles because he doesn't know who to pick up. He doesn't know what lines to be in. It's woeful. Whereas we saw against Holland, he was fine because he knew he got somebody to marshal.
Yeah.
So it depends on Wolves. As Annie said the other night, I think Diego Costa's definitely injured, so it'll be interesting to see how Wolves line up. That might impact which.
Could Eddie Howe throw the ultimate curveball and put Schär in as a DM and push Bruno further up?
Absolutely not.
He's played it for Switzerland.
There is no chance. Not a chance.
Oh, well, I don't think so, but he could do.
Well, it is an interesting question, Alex, because these are the curveballs that Eddie Howe likes to play sometimes, and when you
that's a squiggly line.
Well, it is.
It's not just a curveball. That's a snake ball.
Yeah. With Joe Linton being out,
but he's played there before.
Presence in midfield by pushing Bruno forward. Could happen.
It's interesting.
Not likely. But
having seen him twice in recent weeks wander into midfield with the ball and lose it, no. I think he's good enough, but again, at a Premier League level, I'd do it in a cup game. I'd test it out. I wouldn't do it in a Premier League game against Wolves when we haven't won it.
International level. He's done it at international level, hasn't he? So it's not as if
but again, international level can be crap. It depends who you're playing against.
Well, that's true.
If Switzerland against Malta, but be my guest, try sharing a DM.
JB says, I would presume wouldn't Shelby a loan deals until June. Shelby's definitely not a loan deal. His was permanent.
Yeah, Shelby's permanent.
And Chris Woods was made permanent because he activated the 3 games.
I'm still not 100% sure that it doesn't. Well, I'm not sure on the Wood one.
Well, I mean, I'm not particularly bothered, to be honest. Irani Granny says, don't take Wolves for granted. They will be tougher than a £2 steak. 1-0 a Murphy goal. We haven't really talked about Murphy tonight, Billy, and the possibility of him playing.
No, I mean, for what he's done the past 2 weeks, his little cameos, there might be a chance of him getting a start, but again, when he's started, he's flat out to deceive, hasn't he? So I don't know. Let's see. How, we can't predict a side with Eddie Howe because we've done it week in, week out, and how many times we got it right? 3 times
Very
out
rare.
of a million.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Brown, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. Botman, huge game this weekend. A win could start another good run. More team pictures after games. Confidence builds again. Isak to start. Francisco says there was an article today about a midfielder being called up from the academy. Yeah, I read that. I can't remember the kid's name. I'm trying to think who he was, but I saw a picture of it, which is good because obviously, if we're seeing kids coming up from the academy and training with the first team, that can only be a positive thing, without a shadow of a doubt. With Real Madrid and PSG circling around Bruno and Botman, and we improving their contracts to keep hold of them, does it affect our FFP and spending?
Yes.
Look, it will, but it won't have a massive say on it, and I don't care as long as we keep Bruno and Botman. I really don't care. Those are 2 players that are going to be the spine of Newcastle United for years to come, and we need to keep them. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. Tony says Stato has lost weight and is looking well. Gym paying off. It's a credit to you, Alex.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well, there you go. Somewhere I need to start going and getting some weight off and all. Chaz says Wolves are a dangerous side. Don't underestimate them. Certainly not. I mean, I'm sick of underestimating teams in the last few weeks, to be honest. I don't think we'll make that mistake again. Although I did say 2-1 to City at the weekend last week, so I wasn't far away with my prediction. No. God says, is it just me, or has Lascelles looked like the best of our centre backs in attacking corners? Yeah. You're not wrong there. He is. And I suppose that's why some people say that, they would like to see him in. Good evening, Niall. Hope you're well, mate. Jake says he's also played right back, but I wouldn't play him there either. Definitely a centre half. Obviously about Fabian Schär. Madara 100% Howe has peaked. If we lose against Wolves, I lose trust in his management. Oh, Madara, for God's sake, man, get a grip. Honestly,
that takes the cake, that does.
Sorry?
That takes the cake. Madara, whatever his name is.
Yeah. Look, that was awful, Billy. 100% couldn't disagree with you more. Absolutely astonishing comment. He's only been here a season and a half. Well, not even that yet. Christ. Let's just give him an opportunity. And the football that we've played has been brilliant this season. And why would you say that he's hit his peak? Unbelievable. How can a manager hit his peak when he's playing with a squad mainly made up of people who were absolute dross under the previous regime, and he's got them playing like world beaters? Wow.
Still most of the squad we had before. I mean, it's like people don't seem to understand what it's like. If we take Bournemouth now, then we spend the next 18 months and we put 6 or 7 good quality European prospects in there. Bournemouth will be, if they do well, they might be able to challenge top 6. It's exactly the position we're in. It's no different. We were crap.
Colback plays for Forest as well. Well, no, I don't think he's seen much of the field at the minute, Jack Colback, this season,
Although he's ended Fraser's career.
He gave a penalty away last week.
Oh, did he?
Oh, did he? Oh, well, there you go. He won't be playing against us.
I just remember him beating Fraser in a foot race in the first game of the season.
Yes. That really did anger you, Alex. It did.
He's a winger.
Geordie boy, thanks for your £4, mate. He says £1 for each Toon goal this weekend. Let's hope you are right. Do we have any graphics this week, Alex?
No, we do not. Not yet.
Oh.
Well, I need to get a funny adapter.
You need your hub.
I've only got USB-C inserts, and I've got.
Right, Alex, you do realise that Amazon do like next day delivery. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, I'll have a look. That's a good point. I'll have a look tonight. I need a funny I've got HDMI leads, but this obviously this new laptop doesn't have a HDMI port. So
it doesn't. No, so you need a hub.
You want one of these, Alex?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you need a hub, Alex, just to sort of plug into the. You can get a double pin hub that plugs into the two Thunderbolt ports and then has
I do have
HDMI,
it.
USB.
I can't share it.
Yeah. I think that will disappoint many people, Alex, but never mind. It'll be back soon.
Next, probably for the weekend. If we do, obviously the match is until Sunday, so depending on what you want to do with scheduling, if we do any sort of transfer stuff, then it will be for the next one.
Yeah, there you go. Brian says Chris Wood doesn't join permanently till the summer. Agreement was if he hit the requirements, it will be a permanent summer move. There you go. We will wait and see. JB says we don't have too many options, so I doubt any great selection surprises against Wolves. I mean, look,
disagree with that completely.
Sorry,
I completely disagree with that. There's loads of selection headaches. It's going to be: is Gordon going to play? Is Maxi going to play? Is he going to give Anderson a chance, or just go back with Willock? Is it Lascelles or Cher? Is Target going to come in? This is literally the 1 week where there are tons of things to talk about for selection changes. Like, it couldn't be. You couldn't be more wrong. I'm sorry. There's so much he could change.
Yeah,
and might change.
Tom says, do you fear a backlash from our fans if we play the same team and suffer a defeat at the weekend? Well, if there's any sort of backlash, then they're not our fans. I'm sorry, but, we've got to be realistic here. And, this is the thing. We have to be realistic. And I think sometimes I think, I'm sitting thinking to myself that this start that we've made, this wonderful start, has been a bit of a, it's given the expectancy of us staying there and challenging for top four in probably some of these plastic fans that we're going to sort of take over the world from very early doors, and it's not going to happen. And I sometimes wonder if the start has sort of gone against us a little bit, because we know that we're overachieving a little bit, Alex.
Yeah, well, I might offend a few people here, but there'll be a lot of people that obviously didn't follow the club when we were struggling. A lot of people who were sort of, I don't know, the Sunday driver equivalent of football fan. They'll be around when it suits, and they sort of came out to play when it was all going really well, and now we're having a bit of a rough patch. They're voicing their opinions without context, and it just, and it's muddying the waters a little bit. I've seen a lot of people online saying that they're not really seeing any negativity. To be fair, I'm not seeing that much. I see the odd comment. I'm not seeing too much. I think it's just being blown out of proportion. I think somebody will see one negative comment and then it will get massively blown out of proportion.
I mean, the thing is, poor Matty from the Magpie channel, he puts a video out saying that some fans want Eddie Howe out, and was totally against it on the video. And then he gets absolutely slammed by idiots thinking that it's him wanting Eddie Howe out and all of this kind of crap. Ridiculous. People need to start just sort of
reading
and listening, opening their ears to what people are saying. And then I am sick to death of hearing them, where's all these Eddie Howe stories come on? And of course, people coming straight into the comments and stuff going, oh, the podcasters are doing it. It's all their fault. They're saying Eddie Howe out. Not one frigging podcast have I watched or been in part of that has said Eddie Howe out. Not one. So I don't know, these bitter freaks of nature who think it's all like, who are jealous because they've got no say in anything. They just come out and say, oh, it's the YouTubers and it's the podcasters that are saying Eddie Howe out. It's ludicrous. It is. And some of the comments directed at Matty the other day were shocking, because all he did a video was for sticking up for Eddie Howe. Ridiculous. These people see one line and think, oh, he wants Eddie Howe out. Look at that. Let's jump on him.
But there are people that support the club that's nearest to Newcastle United that will pretend to be Newcastle fans and put this kind of shite on, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Lots of
them. Look how much time Mikel Arteta got. We need to give Howe the same. Yes, of course we do. But some of those plastic Arsenal fans last season, even this season, when they were losing against Bournemouth, get him out. Get him out. And they weren't saying that by the end of the 90 minutes.
You've got to stick with your team when they're losing.
Top of the table, 5 points now, according for one particular person was calling for the manager's head.
I mean, the
Bizarre.
first thing I ever sent to Paul was an article on how I think Paul Dummett might be able to redeem himself. I mean, if that doesn't highlight where we were, then nothing will.
Was that by retiring?
Well,
Say that again.
I said one of the first things I sent to you was an article on Paul Dummett and how he might be able to redeem himself potentially.
Yeah, indeed.
So it's just where we were to what we're allowed to talk about now is just, it's great.
Absolutely. Francisco, although we have lost 7 subscribers today, by the way, so maybe they were plastic subscribers. I don't know. Francisco says, what do you guys think of hiring Lascelles as a set-piece coach next year? Just an idea. Mate, I don't think his career's over yet. I think he's got a few years left in his playing career. I think Lascelles will be off to pastures new next season.
I'm not sure I'd want Jamal Lascelles coaching me on how to cross a ball in.
Well, yeah.
Or how to bend one around the wall.
If we had more defensive depth, he'd have probably gone to Forest in January, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Rachel says, Alex, the general consensus of opinion, why isn't that coming up on the screen? There you go. Is in the chat is that we're not angry. We're just disappointed at the lack of graphics.
That's fair.
Yeah. Abs says, why would Eddie's position even be in any doubt whatsoever? Absolutely, Abs. And I'm 100% with you. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. But it isn't. We all know it isn't. And these fans that have just jumped on the Newcastle United bandwagon, just because, look, we knew when this takeover happened, Billy, that there was going to be a lot of plastic fans jumping on the wagon kind of thing. And it's mainly obviously them to see us not battling for the we're not in the top 4 anymore, and they've come out whinging because they probably jumped ship from another club to Newcastle, and now they're not getting the goals that they thought they would.
Yeah, they might have jumped ship from Liverpool and they're now above us, and they probably were expecting a trophy the other Sunday, and that hasn't happened. So they threw the toys out the pram and gone back to where they were before, probably.
Yeah,
Man United or Liverpool or whatever.
It's okay, Alex. We'll wait for the big. We'll wait for the big reveal of graphics again next week. Don't worry. We'll have a big fanfare for it.
Well, I mean, I've got Wolves stuff up, so it won't be relevant next week. The Wolves stuff.
Well, go on then. See if we'll try it.
Well, it's not to screen share. It was literally just to say, because I can see them.
Right, go
just
on
about what we could expect.
Yeah.
Wolves have had 4 red cards this season, so the most out of any other Premier League club. So if you remember, the Brentford game last season kind of helped us continue our run a little bit, although Brentford were actually looking quite good in that game up until the red card. So maybe this is one of those sorts of games where, people talk about just scoring a goal off Wilson's arse or something. Maybe a red card could help us. Help with a little bit of confidence. They're a bit dirty, 4th in the league for fouls, 11.6 per 90. Penalties though aren't too bad. Only conceded 3 penalties, so I was hopeful that might be something we could maybe exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And then mid-table for pretty much everything.
Game, shouldn't they? They should have conceded one in the home game when whoever it was tore Sean Longstaff's shirt off.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
Jesus, yeah.
But they are very much middle of the park for most of their metrics. Interceptions are very low, 18th. They don't tend to come out to block passing lanes. They don't come out and press super high. They're a very sort of mid-block team, but they're very low for big chances created. They're 18th in the league, so they don't create a lot of high-value opportunities. Well, I think they are on, if I can see the table. Where's the full table? So their expected goals aren't too bad. They could do with scoring a few more goals, preferably not against us. They've scored 19, but their XG is 26. So they're actually being shortchanged quite significantly. They should have scored 7 more goals than they actually have. So they're missing their shooting boots in front of goal as well. So they've scored 19. In contrast, we've scored 35. So 16 more than Wolves, which is quite nice. They've conceded 35, which is quite a lot compared to our 17. So they've conceded double what we've conceded. So everything stat-wise points to us having a good game or being okay at least. And in terms of their injuries as well, let me bring that back up. So Sasha Kalejic, I don't know if you guys remember him, the really, really tall guy who got injured right at the start of the season, unfortunately. He's obviously still out till early June. They're missing Hugo Bueno. They're missing He Chan Huang, the guy who actually normally plays quite good against us.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So Costa's out, Chiquinho's out, and Boubacar Traore is also, should be out. It says mid-March, so he may be. You never know. And then it says for us, Fabian Schär and Kraft, but Fabian Schär's obviously been in training, so might feature.
Yeah. Look, I think Huang being out is a bonus for me because, like you said, Alex, he plays really well against us. I remember the week before the takeover against Wolves, he ripped us a new one. Scored 2 goals against us and was really good. But that was when he just turned up at the club, and he's had a bit of an up and down career at Wolves so far since he permanently joined them. Seen today on the Chronicle, someone saying, look at Isak, I was £67 million waste. I felt physical pain. I wanted to stick one on him. Where does this come from? It beats me. Look, some of the Chronicles articles are just incredible at times. They really do. Geordie Boy says, plastic fans need to be recycled into plastic toilet brushes. Indeed, they do. 100% they do. Paul's fine-tuning the hokey cokey this evening. Okay. North Shields Jeff says the future is going to be amazing. It's going to take time, but just enjoy the ride. We have something we craved for years. Absolutely. Chris says all these plastic fans need to shut up. I remember watching Newcastle at Swindon in the fog, losing, I think, 5-2. Aussie's last game in charge. We have a project ongoing. Give it time. I remember that game, Billy. That was not a good night.
They weren't a bad side then, what Swindon, were they?
Well, no, they weren't. But
that's some good players and still shit though. You're right.
Yeah,
young kids been thrown to the wolves, weren't they? But it did them good in the end.
It did, definitely. Spacebath thinks I think we should. I think some forget that we aren't just rebuilding a squad; we're building an entire club that was smashed up by that fat prick who won us before. Yeah, look again. This is what fans need to realise. It's not just the team that runs out on the pitch. This club was in the mire when Mike Ashley left it. It was in the mire, and there's no doubt about that. There wasn't any money being ploughed into the club. There wasn't anything to be hopeful about, and we were just languishing above relegation season in, season out. And to be honest, if the takeover hadn't happened last season, we would now be in the Championship and probably somewhere near the bottom of that as well. Because it was rotten. The club was rotten. And no big manager in their own right would have come in. Ashley would have kept Steve Bruce because, well, I'm good enough. And it would have just gone to, it would have just gone to bollocks. So, when they took over the club, I could imagine them just going, wow, look at the state of this for such a big sort of, treasure of a football club in the city of Newcastle, and look how it's been run. Look at what's happened to it. It has to be changed from the inside out, and it will take a lot of time. It won't just take 2 or 3 years. This is a project that is going to keep going. Yes, they will probably get things right on the pitch. Within 2 to 3 years, I would have thought. But after that, the world is our oyster, if you like, because, Amanda's already said the Saudis are in it for the long run. And, that's what we want to see. So I'm excited about the future. Disappointed that Billy didn't pick up the Wang being out comment.
It's too early for that, Dan.
It is. It's only 7 o'clock on a night time. This is a sensible show. AG says, I can see us getting this by a snatch and grab only. Jack says, I fear us being a Man City fan base. It won't be us. I think it'll be the plastic fans that join on. That's what happens. But listen, these plastics can't buy any season tickets for love nor money. So you're not going to see, all these tourist fans in the corner when we score a goal out with the camera phones and stuff like that. It's genuine passion, and that will be there for a long time to see.
And the nucleus of Man City fans actually it's a massive, a really good fan base. Man City's, the nucleus of it.
It was at Main Road, yeah. That's what I mean, Billy. At Main Road, they were proper fans, and obviously, since the takeover they had.
In the third tier of English football now, still getting 33,000 every week, filling out the stadium.
Yeah. They do have proper fans, there's no doubt about it.
But they have had, like you say, a lot of add-ons have come into the scene, tourist fans and what have you.
Indeed, yeah. Foxy says a lot more plastics will arrive once we start winning trophies. The nonsense will only get worse. Enjoy the ride. Yeah,
indeed.
Jan says Chelsea will have a big sale out in the summer. We can always get a few off them. I don't know if I want to. I know, but I don't know if I want to do business with Chelsea. They've been kind of weird with us, haven't they? The Platinum Club carpets were a giveaway on the level of neglect at entry level. Absolutely. Harry Maguire is for sale, 50 million. Personally, would not give 10. I don't know how they expect. I do not know how Manchester United expect to regain 50 million pounds for Harry Maguire. He is not a 50 million pound defender. Maybe 25, 30, I'd possibly say.
If someone's seen him in the World Cup, they might pay it.
Well, yeah, but that a good point. But I just think that if someone was to go in with a cheeky 25, 30 offer, that I think that would test them. Abs has really missed the graphics. They made the review and preview shows. Oh well, thanks, Abs. Not that they will be back soon. Just because Alex sticks something on the screen, that makes the reviews. And well, thank you very much for that comment, Abs. You've really put me out there. JB says Mike Ashley destroyed NUFC's commercial department in favor of promoting Sports Direct and cheap long-term sponsorships. Tony says, I agree. Man City get a bad rap for having not enough fans. But unlike Man United, they were there from the start and actually from Manchester. Indeed. Jim says, did you all see those Empyrean seats, empty seats? I think he just says empty seats at City. That would never happen at the Toon, given City success. Indeed, I don't think it would, but I think Man City have you got to remember, as much as we hate to see it, it is a two-club city, whereas Newcastle isn't. So it's a little bit different. You've got about 10,000 Man United fans from Manchester, and the rest are probably City. Right, it is team prediction time. And just as I say that, we rock on to 666 viewers. Brilliant. So on that note, Billy, you can go first.
Cheers. Well, on that note, I'm gonna get rid of the devil and put Pope in goal. That's for certain. He'll
nice. I like the way you do that, Billy. Yes.
Trippier right back. I think Lascelles will keep his place. I think it'll be Lascelles and Botman. I think Target will play. I think Target will play this week.
Ooh.
Well, one thing Wolves do have is lots of pace down the flanks. Traore on one side, Podence on the other if they both play. So I think Target might be a better selection this week. And give Dan Burn a rest.
That's interesting call.
Bruno, Willock and Longstaff in the midfield.
Yeah.
And I think he'll go with Gordon, Wilson and Almiron.
Wow. Wow. We didn't really talk about left back, did we? I mean, that is interesting, Billy, because obviously Matt Target did come on for Dan Burn last week. Alex is stroking his beard like a Bond villain. It is starting to freak me out a little bit the way you do that, Alex. Because what's your team, Alex?
I mean, my team, or what I think he's going to play.
Well. I think we have to play. We have to go on what we think Eddie Howe will play, because
I think Eddie Howe's going to play the exact team that Billy's just said.
Wow. Okay.
I think Gordon and Miggy, because he did it last time. I think he'll give Wilson one more go. I would prefer Isak, but I think he'll give Wilson one more go. The midfield picks itself, in my opinion, unless he curveballs and puts Anderson in. But I think it's likely to be Bruno, Willock, Longstaff. I think Lascelles keeps his place, and then I think Target will come in.
Wow.
I think it's what he'll do.
Wow. We didn't really talk about left back, but that's very, very interesting. Shamrock says that Alex is like the evil Drax from Moonraker. I mean, there's another one to add to your collection, Alex. I mean, it just seems to grow every week. Who you could star in the net if they ever did remake a film. So I'm sure there's a few of them. I'm going with Pope, Trippier, Cher, Botman, Target. I think Target will play, but I think Cher will come back in. I think, you know, he's been so good this season. I think it would be absolutely ludicrous if he's fit to leave him out. I don't see the point. Midfield, as you guys say, I think it'll be Willock, Bruno, and Sean Longstaff. Up front for me, I'm going with Maxi left, Gordon right, Isak up front.
That's what I'd like to see. But
Please, Eddie, please, for the love of God, please. I just want to see how Maxi and Isak play together, you know, for a full game, because they've looked so good when they've come on as substitutes.
Well, don't forget that with the squad that you've just said, if we get a nice free-flowing attack down the left, you'll have Willock joining in and Target overlapping.
Mm-hmm.
So that left side will be a Target overlap, Maxi, Willock into Isak in the box. That's a lot more oomph than we've had on that side of the pitch than forever.
Absolutely. So please, Mr. Edward Howe, Sir Eddie, King of Newcastle, please give us that wish. Just let us see for one game. Although we're saying Gordon, I mean, obviously we don't know if Gordon's bloody fit yet, or whatever going on with Gordon, you know, with his training.
We'd all like to see that front line. That front line's got potential.
Yeah. Does Eddie Howe watch the Toon review? Well, given that we haven't had any invites from Newcastle United, I don't think anybody bloody does. But you know that may change. Hello, we are here. We are a very, very quickly growing Newcastle United show. By the way, guys, you know, we have just slowed down on the subs a little bit. We're pushing towards that 18,000 mark. So get this channel shared, everybody. Get it shared. Get subscribed if you're not already done so. Hit that red button. It is free to do so. Subscribe. And Billy will sing songs of gratitude in the next few weeks. So please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Really hope we don't see Lascelles and Wilson in the starting 11. Looking forward to the press conference tomorrow and then Paul's brilliant summary. Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, do what Fez says, please. I'll be very kind of you. Julie J says, I've been retweeting the channel today. Well, thank you very much, Julie. We really appreciate that. If anyone meets Eddie Howe, please tell Eddie to subscribe to the Toon review. Look, in all seriousness, I'm sure we'll end up, you know, getting contact from the club at one point for media days and stuff in times to come. But we'll see. By the way, of course, just to mention that the Newcastle ladies will once again be playing at St James's Park in April, which is absolutely fabulous news for Becky and the team. So that I heard Becky's interview, I think it was yesterday, saying that they want to try and break that 30,000 barrier at St James's Park this time around in April. Tickets are now on sale on the website for the game. So if you can make it, guys, please give Becky and the girls a fantastic day and fill up St James's Park. I'm going to take the family myself, so it's a great day out, and certainly for the whole family, really. For the ladies' game, it is a great atmosphere, and you see some very, very good football. And you know, the lasses are really pushing for promotion this season. They've got a very, very tough game coming up this weekend against Durham. Is it Sestria? Durham Sestria, I think it is, which is a huge game. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they get those points against Sestria, and they can. I think that puts them 1 point behind, and then continue the push for promotion. So, of course, Julie says they could win the title when they play in April. Exactly. So, a massive game. Jan says heavy snow is likely to cause cancellation of games, including the Toon game. No, it won't. Not in Newcastle. Trust me. There'll be no snow on Sunday. That's be out the window. The main snow where we are, Jan, is just over this next couple of days, and to be honest, I'm not even worried about that. Undersoil heat and everything like that is fantastic these days. Right, let's go for the All important predictions. Alex, we'll start with you for this one.
I'm going to go with 2-0.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with a Willock goal and a Lascelles goal.
Oh, dear me. So Botman's not going to score this time, Alex, no?
I mean, I'm not gonna. If I don't say anything, then you never know. So I can't jinx it.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point. Billy, how's about yourself?
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-0 too. And I think the scores will be a Trippier free kick and a goal from Callum Wilson.
Or you think he's actually gonna hit the net? That's interesting. That is very interesting.
It's worth pointing out as well that Jose Sarr's only got a 68% save percentage. Pope's got like 82. So
yeah,
Sarr's not having as good a season as he did last year at all.
Interesting. Simon May's going 1-0. Gordon the scorer. I Like Coffee 3-0. Tim C 3-1. James Pope 4-2. Toon Gamer says, I feel mad saying this, but I wouldn't be against Murphy starting for his crossing from the right. Yeah, I think I've gone for Gordon to play there, but I think if Gordon's missing for whatever reason it is, I wouldn't mind Murphy there. Give him a shot. Shamrock says 3-1 Newcastle. Lee Kelly says 3-0. Tom Lynch says snow has been light in Newcastle. Yeah, but where I live, Tom, it can be hit and miss. It really can. We've got to have heavy snow overnight, but we'll wait and see on that one. Julie J says if Eddie drops Wilson, it's going to be 3-1. 2-0. One from a corner, says Bath. Well, that would be nice. 2-0, says Carl. 2-1, Clone Lad. Jan says 2-0. Godfather 2-0. Shoot on sight, says to coin a phrase. Paul Gardner 3-1 to the Toon. 4-0. Says Adnan. Baz Down Under says 3-0. James Welsh 2. A lot of 2-0s, I have to say. A lot of 2-0s. Rachel's going 3-0. Chip is 1-0 just from a Trippier free kick. Paul Sprague is going 2-0. I am going 3-0. I think we are going to come out the traps. And a lot of people are going to, the Eddie haters are going to go back to the little boxes and little crawl back under the little houses under the rocks. Or the plastic seats, if you like. And then we start our march again. Confidence comes back. As for goal scorers, it's very difficult because I don't know who he's going to start up front, whether it be Wilson or Isak. I said Isak in my prediction. I think Joe Willock's going to get one on Sunday. And I'm going for a Maxi double. I'd love to see Maxi get a couple of goals. I really would. And do that little celebration, do that celebration that I do every morning for a morning stretch when he does that somersault. I do that down the stairs.
It's back four that's conceded 35, so it's very possible. It's doable.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, I just want to see a good performance and a few goals and get this motivation and confidence back. That we've been, but then again, confidence hasn't been. I don't think confidence is the wrong word, really, because we haven't really not been confident because we've played some decent football. I think it's just the fact that confidence-wise, I mean hitting the onion bag, getting a goal and then getting a couple of goals after that, because we haven't scored 2 goals in a game for a while now. I think I was reading back to it was something like away at Leicester on Boxing Day. I think is when we last got more than 1 goal. In the Premier League, that is. So, I just want to see a good performance and a good win and everyone coming out of that ground on Sunday really happy. So we'll see.
Historically, Newcastle Wolves generally ends at 1 each, doesn't it? Let's be honest. But it's not going to be this week. Oh, I've just seen Andy Madley's the ref. Christ.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I mentioned that in yesterday's video. He's not the best referee, but... we are given what we are given, folks, unfortunately. But there you go. That is the match preview, guys. Thank you very much for spending your tea time with us tonight on the Toon Review. Like I said, guys, if you can start getting the channel shared around all your friends, family, etc., let's try and hit this 18,000 sooner rather than later, guys. It would be great to get there soon and keep the growth of the channel going. And, if you'd like to see us do any particular shows, drop us an email. If you have any ideas for shows, drop us an email. If you want to see us do anything different, you are part of the channel just as much as anyone else. So that is an option that you guys have. Thank you very much to all the super chatters tonight. And, of course, to the mods. Great work again. And to Billy and Alex for their company. We will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m., our usual time again at 8 o'clock with TTR Friday. We'll be talking about all the news stories from the football world this week and, of course, the quiz. Billy will no doubt have some beef. I'm bringing Shame by Stato back because he'll probably want to shame somebody tomorrow night. So it will be a great show, guys. The quiz at the end, of course. And by the way, I am sending out all the prizes. We've just been having a little bit of a problem with illnesses and stuff with our suppliers. So that's why they haven't gone out too quickly at the minute. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And we'll see you with a video tomorrow and a live show. But until then, good night.
How are the lads and lasses?